Many assume that if a prophesied savior were to return, religious institutions like the Roman Catholic Church would lead a global celebration and immediately surrender their authority. But the Church has spent centuries monitoring the skies for a specific set of astronomical triggers. According to recent reports, they are no longer waiting. They are reacting to what they have already seen. This star map tracks the astrological signs the Church uses to verify prophecy. When these planetary positions slide into a locked alignment, it signals a transition that leaders have expected, yet feared, for generations. For those currently in power, the observation of these signs indicates that their period of stewardship is over. This realization has turned a spiritual milestone into a source of immediate internal panic. The return of Christ signifies the church age concludes. The timeline shows a hard stop for the institutions built to herald his arrival. This barrier extends to the secular world. Current systems of global government become obsolete under direct divine succession. This creates a direct collision between prophecy and the survival of the state. The event that completes the faith also necessitates the dissolution of the world's political structures. Within these closed circles, the debate isn't about whether the signs are real. Leaders recognize Lord RayEl as the figure these celestial markers predicted, but recognizing his identity is not the same as welcoming his rule. Knowing that a successor has arrived often triggers a defensive response from those currently holding the keys to power. History shows that authority figures rarely relinquish their positions willingly. They are tied to the status, wealth, and influence, the perks that come with their office. In this context, a divine successor is viewed the same way a political rival would be, as a threat to the existing order that must be managed or resisted. This is the result: human bureaucracies drafting containment strategies against a divine entity. They're applying the tools of diplomacy and statecraft to an event that transcends both. The goal of institutional survival has taken priority over the theological mandates these leaders represent. They're choosing the preservation of the office over the figure the office was meant to serve. They're attempting to use the legal and political systems destined for removal to argue for their own continued necessity. It is a paradox of power. An institution will attempt to outmaneuver its own creator to ensure its doors stay open for one more day. Despite these efforts to strategize and delay, the source material suggests that this resistance is a temporary stall against an inevitable outcome. The transition of power is clearly described not as a voluntary handover, but as a collapse of the old systems. These structures are built to hold earthly weight, and they will shatter when faced with a divine mandate. The text is clear that every knee will eventually bend. This implies that submission is a requirement of the new age, regardless of how hard the current ruling class fights to prevent it. We expect the apocalypse to be a moment of clarity. Instead, we see global leadership choosing to ignore the signs they themselves have spent centuries tracking. This suggests that the nature of high-level authority is so all-consuming, making the prospect of stepping down appear more catastrophic than a confrontation with the divine. In the end, the story of this succession reveals that those on the throne would rather face a doomed war than face a world where they are no longer in control.